how would you solve the Citadel's financial crisis? First off, can I just say that I believe this Citadel is the greatest in the entire multiverse.
From casually destroying entire civilizations to emotionally obliterating his own family, Rick Sanchez has proven time and time again that he's not just a mad scientist, he's often a straight-up monster. Today, we're diving into the top 11 cruelest things Rick Sanchez has ever done, ranked from "okay, that's messed up" to "wow, this guy might actually be irredeemable."
That was awesome! my grandkids weren't in that town, right? Are my grandkids alive?
11. Abandoning Jerry in a monster dimension. We're kicking things off with a classic Rick move, abandoning someone he doesn't like in a horrifying alternate dimension. And of course, that someone is Jerry. During a trip to a post-apocalyptic Mad Max-style world, Rick, Morty, and Summer take part in some gladiator-style chaos. But Jerry, yeah, he's not really built for this kind of thing. So when it's time to go home, Rick accidentally on purpose leaves Jerry behind. No portal gun, no survival gear, no goodbye. Jerry spends who knows how long wandering a hellscape filled with mutant warriors, while Rick shrugs and goes home like nothing happened. And when they eventually find him again, Rick mocks him for being traumatized. Of course he does. It's cruel, but it's also the perfect introduction to how casually Rick can ruin a life when someone annoys him.
Divorce decision, listen, good for you. Good for the kids. I mean, honestly, I think that they're flourishing.
10. Wiping Morty's mind over and over. It's one thing to hurt a stranger. It's another thing entirely to erase the memories of your own grandson, repeatedly, just because you don't want to deal with his trauma. In Morty's Mind Blowers, we learn that Rick has been erasing Morty's painful, traumatic, or even just inconvenient memories without his consent. The two literally walk through a vault filled with bottles, each containing a memory that Rick has yanked out of Morty's head. And we're not talking about little embarrassing moments. Some of these are horrifying, including ones where Morty witnesses Rick's cruelty firsthand. Instead of helping his grandson process that trauma like a normal person, Rick just deletes it and moves on. It's cruel, manipulative, and deeply selfish. But hey, it's also peak Rick.
AIDS booger. I gotta start using real file names. In the meantime, enjoy a grab bag of mind blowers I call.
9. Abandoning an entire civilization to die. Rick doesn't just ruin individual lives. Sometimes he ruins entire species. Remember the Cromulons? Those massive floating heads that force planets to compete in a deadly American Idol-style talent show called Get Swifty. Rick's response to this cosmic threat is classic Rick. Solve the immediate problem, then walk away and let the consequences destroy everything. When Earth's leaders start worshipping the heads as gods, Rick mocks them mercilessly, then promptly abandons the planet once he's no longer entertained. The resulting chaos leads to mass hysteria, widespread destruction, and the likely collapse of civilization. Rick could have helped rebuild. He could have prevented the chaos he caused. But nah, he just got bored and left.
Genius happens in the moment, Morty.
Well, can we at least go get our family? So we can take them with us if we lose?
8. Turning himself in and taking the galaxy down with him. Rick being cruel to strangers is one thing, but when he weaponizes an entire galactic government just to make a point, that's when we're on another level. At the end of Season 2, Rick does something shocking. He turns himself into the Galactic Federation. But this isn't a redemption arc, it's a setup. Once he's inside their system, Rick uploads a virus that collapses the Federation's economy overnight. The result? Total chaos. Entire planets fall into ruin, governments crumble, countless beings lose their lives, livelihoods, and homes. All because Rick wanted to prove he could. And here's the kicker. He didn't do it to save Earth. He didn't do it to fight tyranny. He did it for revenge and ego. That's Rick Sanchez, blowing up civilizations just to feel better about himself.
The Blemflark's value just dropped to nothing.
What do you mean?
I mean, our single centralized galactic currency just went from being worth one of itself.
7. Emotionally breaking Morty with the save point trick. At first, Rick's save point device seems like one of his more fun inventions. Morty uses it to redo embarrassing moments, perfect dates, and avoid mistakes. But of course, nothing with Rick is ever that simple, or that innocent. When Morty's life spirals out of control, Rick reveals the horrifying truth. There was never a save point. The device didn't rewind time. It killed alternate versions of Morty in other universes and replaced them with this Morty. That means every mistake Morty undid was actually another Morty being murdered by Rick's machine. And if that's not dark enough, Rick tells him the only way to fix it is to merge all those realities, erasing countless lives in the process. It's one of Rick's most twisted mind games ever, and it completely shatters Morty's sense of reality.
I was living in the moment all day and it kept getting me killed by Nazis. I think you have to think ahead and live in the moment.
6. Destroying the Citadel of Ricks. It's hard to overstate how cruel this one is, even by Rick's standards. The Citadel of Ricks is home to thousands of Ricks and Mortys across the multiverse. It's a place built on arrogance, sure, but it's also a society, one that many versions of Rick genuinely believe in, and Rick blows it up, literally. Why? Because he's mad at them for questioning his authority. That's it. No noble cause, no heroic purpose, just petty, vindictive destruction. Thousands of Ricks die. Countless Mortys are orphaned or worse, and Rick walks away with a smug smile like it was just another Tuesday.
Defense! Whoa,
Can we fact check this, please? Never mind, who am I kidding? This race is over.
5. Abandoning Unity and breaking her heart. Rick's cruelty isn't always about death or destruction. Sometimes it's emotional, and honestly, that's when it hits the hardest. Unity, a hive mind collective, is one of the few beings who truly understands Rick. They share history, they share chemistry, and for a moment, it looks like Rick might actually let himself care. But of course, he ruins it. Rick manipulates Unity, fuels her self-destructive behavior, and then drives her away entirely. And when she leaves, she writes him a heartbreaking note explaining that she can't be with him because he's toxic. Rick's response? He tries to kill himself. And while that might seem like a moment of vulnerability, it's also another layer of cruelty. His actions destroyed the one relationship that could have brought him peace.
Never gonna happen though, right? Never! Back in a flash.
4. Creating and abandoning the Cronenberg universe. Now we're getting into the truly devastating stuff. In one of the most infamous moments in the entire series, Rick accidentally turns the entire human population into grotesque Cronenberg monsters while trying to fix Morty's love life. And when the world becomes uninhabitable, Rick doesn't fix it. He and Morty simply abandon the timeline, leaving Beth, Jerry, and Summer to live in a nightmare hellscape. Even worse, they replace themselves with alternate versions of Rick and Morty who just died, bury the bodies in the backyard, and move on like nothing happened. It's one of the most cold-blooded acts of cruelty in the series, and Morty never fully recovers from it.
There's an infinite number of realities, Morty, and in a few dozen of those, I got lucky and turned everything back to normal.
3. Manipulating Morty's reality in a wrinkle in time. Rick doesn't just mess with Morty's external world. Sometimes he messes with his very perception of reality. In A Wrinkle in Time, Rick's carelessness causes time itself to fracture into multiple parallel timelines. The entire universe teeters on collapse, and the trio has to work together to fix it. But when Morty makes a mistake, Rick lets him believe that the collapse is his fault, even though it's mostly Rick's. He weaponizes Morty's guilt, humiliates him, and uses the whole situation to assert his superiority. And while they eventually fix the timeline, the damage to Morty's trust in Rick lingers far longer.
And then there's 31 other versions of me that have to also fix 3 for a total of 96.
2. Using Morty as a human shield. If you're looking for a single moment that sums up Rick's cruelty toward Morty, this is it. During a dangerous adventure, Rick is cornered by enemies and needs a distraction. So what does he do? He literally hides behind Morty, his teenage grandson, and uses him as a human shield. He doesn't ask permission, he doesn't hesitate, and when Morty panics, Rick mocks him for being soft. It's the ultimate betrayal, a physical manifestation of how little Rick values anyone's safety but his own. And it's a reminder that no matter how many times he claims to care, Rick will always prioritize Rick.
Hey, Arthrisha, maybe I could...
Yeah, I have a boyfriend.
Okay.
1. Creating the central finite curve. Here it is, the single cruelest thing Rick Sanchez has ever done. And it's not explosive or violent, it's existential. We eventually learn that Rick helped create the central finite curve, an artificial barrier that separates universes where Rick is the smartest person alive from those where he's not. In other words, he reshaped the multiverse itself to ensure he would always be on top. This isn't just narcissism, it's oppression on a cosmic scale. By cutting himself off from universes where he might be challenged, Rick didn't just stunt his own growth, he robbed countless realities of the chance to evolve naturally. It's the ultimate act of arrogance, the ultimate act of fear, and above all, it's the ultimate act of cruelty.
Wow, I thought my capitalism metaphor was on the nose.
So did you help build the Citadel?
There you have it. The top 11 cruelest things Rick Sanchez has ever done. From mass genocide to emotional manipulation, Rick's cruelty knows no bounds. But here's the terrifying part. For all the damage he's caused, he's still one of the most beloved characters on TV. Why? Because deep down, we all know there's more to Rick than cruelty. There's pain, there's fear, and maybe, just maybe, there's still a chance for redemption. But until that day comes, one thing's for sure. Never trust Rick Sanchez with your universe. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel for unique analysis on Rick and Morty, and let us know in the comments the cruelest thing you think Rick has ever done.
Sounds like you're looking for work. I can offer you a very enticing compensation package. First, let's talk benefits.